What's up, Hyperdrivers? Welcome back to the channel. We are not live, and I apologize for that, but we have something super special for you. So before I get and introduce this awesome video to you guys and this awesome person we're gonna be talking to, I gotta introduce my co-host here. We got my man Frankie in the house, the Raging Mando. What's up, dude?
What's up, buddy? So excited for this.
Yes, this is going to be a fun show. It's going to be an awesome show. So, like I said, we are not live, but we are going to be interviewing a real cool collector that I've actually been talking to now since November of last year. And he's awesome. He's got an awesome collection and a great story to share with you guys. I'm going to bring him in right now. His name is Luke Kellett. So I'm going to bring him in. Here we go. What's up, Luke? How are you doing, buddy?
Hey, George. Hey, Frankie. Good. How are you? How are you boys?
Doing good, man.
Awesome.
Hey, before we chat Star Wars, I just wanted to let everyone know this week in Australia, where I live, is a really exciting and special week. It's NAIDOC week, where we celebrate and acknowledge everything Aboriginal culture throughout Australia. So I just wanted to acknowledge that the land I'm on today, the traditional custodians of this land are the Ewok people, and I pay my respects to their elders, both past, present, and emerging.
That's awesome, man. So, as you can tell, Luke is from Australia, and that's why we're doing this show pre-recorded also. It's because of the time difference here. What time is it over where you're at right now, man?
It's about 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you watch this on the, do you ever catch us live?
Yeah, I do. I stay up. I mean, all the streams over in the US are ungodly hours for me, but I tend to stay up for a few things. The late night shows are really good because it's like our mornings, so they work.
Okay.
Well. Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll keep that in mind. So happy to have you on the show. If this also for you guys who are joining us, either obviously after this has been recorded, if this is your first time on the channel here on the Hyperdrive, we talk about Star Wars all the time. We do all kinds of videos here for you guys every week. So if you're into Star Wars like all of us are, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can jump to light speed every week with us right here on the Hyperdrive. So Luke here is a Star Wars collector, obviously, because he's on the Star Wars channel. And he's been watching the show now for a while. Luke, why don't you tell us about yourself a little bit, man? You're obviously from Australia. Yeah, sure. You can start off from there and keep on going.
Well, I was actually born in the UK in the north of England in Yorkshire.
Okay.
So I have an interesting hybrid. If I have a few drinks, my Yorkshire accent tends to come out, or I get passionate, or any of that, it gets a bit thick. But yeah, I've lived in Australia now for about 13 years. My wife's from here, from Newcastle,
okay,
which is just north of Sydney, a couple of hours. But I've been a mad Star Wars fan all my life via my dad, and from a very young age, and I've been collecting, or this mad collection obsession, for probably about 10 years.
Nice.
And then probably over, like most people, over the COVID periods, 2019, 2020, well, 2020, 21, 22, I might have had some time to set up the display. Things might have got a little bit out of control. All that wonderful stuff.
And we're definitely going to take a look at some of that collection. What do you do for a living, buddy?
So my background's photographic and film, and I run a creative agency in Australia called Head Jam. So we work across marketing and advertising and brand, but mainly in the social justice space. So for a lot of not-for-profits, and yeah, we work on what's called behavioural change campaigns. So we'll get briefs from the Australian government or not-for-profits to kind of produce campaigns that try and help better society in some way. So it's really wonderful work. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. It does also explain a little bit about your Instagram page. What were you gonna say?
No, that's
Frankie?
cool. I mean, it makes me want to rethink my life.
Yeah, right. What's important,
right?
It explains a little bit. It's because, like, okay, so for those of you guys watching, and then also Frankie, so you know how me and Luke started conversing. Luke reached out to me on Instagram. He goes by that Star Wars bloke. I highly suggest you guys check out this guy's Instagram page. I'm gonna leave a link in the description below for you guys to get to it, because you guys will have a nerdgasm when you see the photography and the video footage that this guy produces.
Especially with 3PO.
Yes.
That was therapeutic.
It was.
That's good.
It was therapeutic.
It is. That's like unboxing therapy right there. It's
It
like
was
I
a
sit there and
little
watch
spa
it.
session, man. It's like a Star Wars spa session. Is
Yeah.
what it is.
Meditation. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. And it's not just that either. Like I saw your 6-scale videos that you produced for some of the poses that you have there. So I have some of that I saw. We can show some of that footage here as we're talking about the collection. So it's some very high quality, high production work. I was kind of cracking on him a little bit that they had like a Peter Jackson kind of feel to it a little bit. It does though. It's very like when I see the footage, I want to get better. You know, it's like,
oh, that's good. I mean, we so there's 3 of us at Head Jam that kind of have a bit of fun with it. There's myself, my colleague Tom, and also Rob. And Tom's an amazing cinematographer, so a lot of that work is us collaborating on that. And Rob does a lot of audio production. So yeah, we allocate like a day a month just to have fun and produce content. It just keeps us sane. So it's good.
Very cool. Love it, man. It just like I could see some things on it. I'm like, okay, how did he do this? How did he do that? And you're like trying to write notes. But it is really cool.
Your stuff is awesome. Particularly, I loved the Miles Morales video recently. That was epic.
Thank you, man. I had some fun making that. But again, it's
also,
watching.
The video. Sorry to cut you off, George.
No
The
problem.
video you did of Christian's Salacious Crumb.
Oh, that was fun
very
too.
cool as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's an awesome piece.
But again, I get inspired watching like guys like you because I'm always looking to produce as high level production as I can go with it. With the camera that I have. I don't know what kind of camera you're using, but I mean I'm using kind of a cheapy one, I guess, compared to what you probably use. But I'm trying to get that cinema quality is what I've always like trying to get out of my footage as best as I can anyway. So
yeah, and you were saying your background's animation, is that right?
Yeah, I studied animation. I'd spent about 3.5 years in art school, and I studied animation, which it was more digital and sculpting at that point that I fell into, and then illustration. So, but then when I got out of college, I became a sign designer and then moved into IT work, and now I work as a IT service desk analyst. So. Wow. Kind of a wild change. So
you're literally the IT crowd.
Yeah, basically.
American version.
Yeah, basically.
Some of his answers are very IT answers.
Sometimes.
Well, to be honest, I mean, how many? The reason that show's so funny is because it's so accurate. It's just literally.
I gotta catch that. It was like people have been telling me about it. It's on Netflix, right?
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh wow!
I've been told it's funny though. I gotta check it out.
You're gonna love it. Well, actually, you might hate it because it will be too close to home.
Yeah, I just left this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you're married. You got kids?
Yeah, I've got a son called Jude.
Nice.
He's a great wild kid. But he's got the Star Wars bug too. I don't know where he gets that from. So
Yeah.
we've been enjoying. We've been watching a little bit of some episodes of Rebels. I kind of pre-screen Rebels to see because that show can sometimes get a bit intense for kids.
Later on in the seasons.
Yeah. Season does. Yeah.
But we watch that, and he loves Lego. So we watch some of the Star Wars Lego pieces, which is really great shows too. Yeah.
Nice. How old is Jude?
He's 4.
He's 4. Okay.
Yeah.
He's like same age as my daughter.
Yeah, I thought you had kids similar age.
Yeah. Diana, she's 4, and same thing. We watched the Lego Star Wars. Is how I get it in there. My wife's like, "Don't show her that. I don't want to have another Star Wars fan in the house." So,
No, it's good. It's really good. 4's a good age. It's been really tough having a toddler over the pandemic. That's been next level. But I feel like it's kind of this age onwards is getting much better, being able to talk with him, and I'll take the tantrums over kind of not being able to engage. I much prefer it.
This is the dangerous part, the dangerous time though. I mean, it's because this is when you forget that part of it because it's really, really good, and then you have a second kid, and then it gets fun.
Yeah,
but it goes by quick.
It does.
Mine's 19, and
oh my goodness, fast. Wow.
So yeah, Leia's 19.
Leia.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Her name's Leia.
That's so good. So cool.
Yeah, man. So how does your wife deal with the collecting? She supportive?
Yeah, I mean, she's pretty amazing lady. We actually run the business together, so we spend like 24 hours together. So that makes she's good as gold. Put up with me for that much time is some kind of miracle. But yeah, look, she's been very supportive over the years. My collection's at work, so we have like a post-production studio here, like a little theater, and my collection's in that theater. So it doesn't. Our house is quite small, so it doesn't encroach there. So I think that helps a little bit.
Nice.
But yeah, she's good. She's got her clothes and her passions and her world, and I've got mine. I think it's super healthy, right? To have, at least for me, to have something outside of work that I can kind of focus on and enjoy and de-stress with. So
absolutely,
definitely, yeah. So you said you got into Star Wars with your dad. How old were you when you first saw Star Wars?
Yeah, so it would have been. So I'm an 80s child. I was born in the 80s. So it would have been. I was introduced to it in the early 90s, and Return of the Jedi. I probably watched it at way too young an age, but my dad was a big Star Wars fan.
Nice.
So I kind of fell in love with the Ewoks and the speeder bike chase scene through the Endor forest. I think I just had that thing on repeat pretty much all the time. And I mean, 90s toys aren't, I see like, different collectors collecting all the vintage stuff from the 70s and 80s. I was obviously after that period. So I think it was like the Power of the Force toys that I used to have. And like I had a speeder bike that used to explode when you threw it. And yeah, like just growing up with everything around that. And I think the 90s, particularly the early 90s, were really, really amazing. Like there was obviously like the X-Men cartoons and Thundercats, and it was a really awesome. I feel very lucky to have grown up with that kind of content.
Yeah, late 80s, up to mid 90s, right? That's about kind of when that ended.
Yeah, absolutely.
And cable TV took over, and we lost Saturday morning cartoons. I'm like,
yeah, well, in the UK, it's wild. I don't know what it's like in America, but our TV stations shut down, or they used to when I was a kid, and you would have like this weird holding screen with just this noise that's just this repeated beep.
Yep.
And it was this crazy girl with a clown that was sat on the TV until like 6 a.m. in the morning. Wow. And me and my really weird. If you Google it, you'll see the BBC hold screen. It was terrifying. But me and my brother used to sit there waiting for 6 o'clock to come on so we could watch the cartoons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember seeing that because it would be. We were stationed in Germany at the time, and we were always a small detachment. So I went to British schools. And, we only had one English station. It was BFBS.
Okay.
And so we would see that.
So weird. So
it was.
We didn't have cable TV growing up as we actually didn't get cable until I was I think I was like in my mid to late teens. So I was almost like 15, 16 is by the time my dad finally bucked up and bought cable. So we had 3 channels down in Miami, and like 2 of the channels came in good and 1 was always fuzzy. So it's like we only had the Saturday morning cartoons, and we had like an afternoon set that started like around 3 o'clock and then went on until about 5 to 6 p.m. That was the only time we could watch cartoons, was around that point. Everything else was just, regular TV like ABC and all that. So
yeah, no, it's cool. I've really enjoyed actually rewatching some of those cartoons recently. And another good one was, I don't know if you got the weird Highlander.
Oh yeah,
cartoon.
I used to love that show.
Yeah,
I used to love that.
That's whack. Like when you look back at that, and
oh yeah, it is. But as a kid, I loved it. Like I liked that one and Conan. I don't know if did you ever watch the Conan TV series? Man, dude, I would get up at like 6 a.m. to watch that one.
I recently, the last couple of months, I joined TikTok, and there's a really amazing TikTok channel on there, Cherry Bomb Toys in Canada, and it's like a toy museum, and she has like basically toys from 70s, 80s, 90s, and her feed is just amazing. Just seeing all these amazing toys from that period, it's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
man. Oh, dude. Toys were insane. I'm jealous of Frankie because he's the one of us anyway that got to see the original Star Wars in the theaters. I never got that. I was like you. I watched Return of the Jedi with my father. It's the first one I remember seeing in the theater. And from then on, it was like Ewoks. I had an Ewok doll. I had the speeder bike like you did, a Rancor. I had a Rancor until I stuffed one of my brother's toys into it. And then it had an empty belly. And then, my brother lost his shit and my dad destroyed it. So,
That's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then then the prequel era, I guess in the late 90s, early 2000s. So that was the first kind of cinema experience I had of Star Wars. And I mean, I know that at the time those movies got panned, but I was just so excited and in love.
I loved them at the time.
Yeah.
So
it was really cool.
How was it for you? So like George said, so I was 4.5 when it came out in 77. So the whole time been there. So I had that build up to 83, and then there's that long lull in between.
Yeah.
So I read a lot of books and stuff like that. So for you, how was that time in between before the prequels came out? Was it like you still had the interest, or did it build back up?
No, I was a pretty consistent fanboy through that period. So I read most of the expanded universe, which all the X-Wing books were kind of a huge thing for me, and learning about Wedge Antilles and
Michael
and then
Stackpole's books.
Yeah, exactly. And then when what company, Fantasy Flight Games brought out like the X-Wing game. So I play miniature war games as another side hobby.
Yeah, sweet.
So when the X-Wing game came out, I was pretty enamored with that. But yeah, we actually, when The Force Awakens came out and the subsequent sequels, we closed the studio and it was like forced viewing for all the team. It was pretty.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Like,
what did you think?
Work for right there, man.
Yeah, right. I want to go move to Australia and go work with Luke.
Right.
Come animate and illustrate.
Hell yeah, man! I'm down. I got fulfilled two dreams with that. If I end up out there. What did you think of the sequels? You a fan?
So I really liked The Force Awakens. I thought The Force Awakens was quite a good movie, and I really enjoyed some of the characters that they created through the sequels. I mean, there was, like most, there was a challenge, I think, with the continuity and the way that they maybe told the story. But the biggest thing that I did love about it was the art direction and, the set design, the costumes. So everyone working behind the scenes, I think, completely nailed it. Like the Praetorian Guard, as an example, in The Last Jedi, I think that fight scene was absolutely
pretty cool,
superb.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I think Adam Driver did a really good job with Kylo Ren. I know that, again, some people aren't too into that, but I really liked the character.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was one of the better things to come out of it, and maybe a little disappointed where they took Rey's story arc, but yeah, look, I'm pretty easy to please. I'm not a hard to please Star Wars fan. I'm stoked they're making content. I'm stoked we get to live in a world now in 2022 where there's TV shows and hopefully some more movies, and the collecting world, which it seems to have just gone absolutely insane over the last 3 years. So yeah, it's pretty.
We've been through a drought. We've lived through a drought.
Yeah,
huge drought. Yeah, absolutely. So, but no, I'm to answer your question. So yeah, that period, expanded universe, and just kind of rewatching content, and took me a while to get into the Clone Wars. The first season I found really difficult. I really jarred with Ahsoka's character initially.
Yeah,
and then I think I had to step away and came back, and I think that's probably one of the most amazing story arcs that exists in Star Wars. So, but started off so bad, poorly. Yeah,
I agree, man. I remember by the time she left, when her final episode of, well, at the time, the final episode of the Clone Wars, where she went away from the Jedi, and I found myself feeling a certain way. Like I had like water in my eyes, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, this was a character I didn't like at the beginning. I'm like, how am I here? I'm like,
totally.
So
yeah. So Clone Wars was awesome, and then when Rebels released, that was also great. So yeah. What a time to be a Star Wars fan. It's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah. And it's cool that we get to share it with our kids, man. When I see Diana get involved in it, and she's like really hyped about it. Because my older daughter don't like Star Wars at all, so it's like I feel like okay, I call her my last hope. I'm like, you're gonna be the one. You're gonna be the one that carries the torch. So
I think that's the biggest thing about it too, is just being able to do it with your family, because that was a big thing for me. My mom always made sure that we were there opening day. And, you know, and back then it was kind of a big deal to have to be able to reserve a theater, you know, theater seats. And she always made sure we were there every year opening day. And then now I get to experience it with my daughter. You know, she comes over to come watch, you know, stuff on Disney.
Yeah, it's pretty special. It really is pretty special. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing with Star Wars, right, is just pure escapism. Like the depth of the stories, and you know, I've recently started reading some of the Dark Horse comic series, which I never have before, which has been really cool. And I just ordered some of the High Republic comics. I haven't read any of those. So I'm excited to kind of see where that takes some of those.
I like the High Republic stories. They're pretty good. I read one, or I had an audio book for the first book, and then I read through some of the comics, and they're pretty good. I wish I had more time to read the comics more often, because like whenever I get a chance to, I'm pretty entertained. So good stuff though. Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Would you consider yourself more of an OT fan, a prequel fan, or obviously the sequel? You know, you already mentioned what you said about the sequel.
I'd definitely say I'm a prequel kind of guy. Yeah, for sure. True. Like a lot of my collection kind of comes from that element, but the stuff that I do have from the OT is more around Return of the Jedi. And I think it's just that nostalgia, right? It's kind of what your first experience with Star Wars was. It's kind of shaped that, and I've been really excited because of that, because of companies like Regal Robot making like the maquettes and kind of everything from the Return of the Jedi era, which is super awesome. And I just saw, you folks probably saw as well, the new documentary on
the ILM thing.
ILM
one. Cannot wait for that.
I can't wait for that either.
Because I think we're gonna get some extra, new stories that we haven't heard before. That's what I'm really excited about.
Yeah,
so cool.
I'm hoping it's like a few parts. Did they say it was gonna be a few parts, or is it gonna be just one episode?
Because I think, isn't it like 6 hours or something?
Is it
6 hours?
Oh my goodness, that's
perfect.
I want to say I thought it was like 6 hours.
Okay, I hope you're right, man. I want like 5 episodes of this stuff, so I could like go through it and really get into it. Really hyped about that stuff.
Yeah.
So okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and I really liked the latest Obi-Wan. I thought they did a good job with that. It was I can see how it was initially going to be a movie, and I think it definitely would have been stronger as that. But I thought it was good overall. Yeah,
I enjoyed seeing him come back. I would like to see if they would come up with a different story. I have my gripes with it, but I mean overall I'm happy that we got something. So I still watch the Ewok movies, and they're not good at all.
the cartoons or the
the live actions.
The live action movies,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's right up there with the holiday special.
Ooh.
Oh my God, it's rough. It is rough. I tried to show Diana that one, and even she walked away from me. She's like, "I can't do this, Daddy." I was like, "Oh,
I think the only thing I really love about the holiday special is the animated Boba Fett.
The very first appearance.
That is pretty cool. I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt that I missed out on that 6-scale figure of him.
Yeah,
it does look pretty neat. I saw that one in your collection. I was like, oh, that's a good one. So
yeah,
that's cool.
The Hot Toys version of that's pretty rad.
Yeah. How has your collection evolved over time? Like you have a pretty impressive collection behind you right there, and we're gonna go through it, like I said, in a little bit. But you said it started off as figures,
it actually started, my collection as it is today started off because I had a client that figured out that I liked Star Wars, and he had, for some reason, him or his brother or some family connection had all these Kenner toys and the remakes of during the prequels when they remaked I think it's the Legacy Falcon, or I'm not quite sure what the name of it is, but like that Hasbro era. and they started bringing me like these toys to the end of meetings as like thank yous, like partway through this project. So probably like 2013, 2014, I was getting like, helmet here, Millennium Falcon at the end of a project brought to me there. And we started displaying them in the studio with all these like 3 3/4 inch figures. And it just kind of kept spiraling, because as soon as you display something, then the next person sees it, and then if someone wanted to get me something, it would be Star Wars related. And then over here we had like the Helmet series magazines that was released in maybe like 2016. So people started bringing me all this stuff, and I eventually bought some legacy lightsabers when they got released from Galaxy's Edge. I have like a smuggler that will smuggle them out into Australia for me. And then I just started curating the space, and a lot of stuff went crazy value wise the last 3 years. So I would use like the increased value of certain things to kind of trade up into other pieces. So like a lot of my master replica stuff that I have has been traded up from like the insane price hikes of some of the legacy pieces or some of the older vintage pieces that were harder to find. And so it's kind of a game. Like I enjoy that chase as well, curating it, finding items, trading items, and trying to pull together the collection as a whole. It's super fun for me.
You got a piece that you're hunting that's like your grail that you still haven't caught, or anything like that?
Look, there's something that I've been eyeing off for a long time, which is the Ethne's Nest helmet that Dirty Rogue Design are making. I don't know if you've seen that, but that thing is just absolutely insane. So I think it's Ben that runs that. That's been kind of, he was employed recently by Lucasfilm, I think, to work on maybe the Ahsoka show. So he's an amazing prop maker, and he's been kind of doing this, and he knows the original sculptor from the Solo movie. And so I don't know, I'm trying to save my pennies for that, but it's
nice.
not a cheap item. So
did you see that statue, that NYC? And that thing was good, right?
Amazing. Those really cool. And I think that's one of their better pieces I've seen, and I love their Cad Bane as well.
Oh my God, the Cad Bane's great. That's a fantastic piece. If you can ever get that one, get it. So,
but I've got a couple of pretty big items that I've got on order. So I'm waiting on my Salacious Crumb from Regal Robot that I think I get at the end of the year. So that pretty much has taken all of my credits for quite a while. So
true. Do you budget yourself credit wise per year? Like you only going to spend this much and then you don't go beyond that, or how do you do that?
Yeah.
Or do you do like George and just
I'm pretty bad.
People to spend money?
Yeah, don't. If you are watching, don't do what I do. So.
So look, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not impulsive, because that would be a lie. But but I'm pretty good at. So I have a spreadsheet, and I have my months mapped out, and I have a budget. So me and my wife, we have just joint accounts, and we get an allowance each from that joint account each week. So that's my Star Wars spending money, and then that'll get broken down into my pre-orders. And I'm pretty good at figuring out how to pay things off over time, and how to when I potentially need to sell an item if something's coming up, and cycle that through. So again, I actually really, it sounds weird, but I actually really enjoy that aspect of the hobby too, like having that. I think I'd be really bored if I had unlimited funds to just go and buy everything. Like part of like having to manage a budget and figure that out is also quite an enjoyable process for me. I don't know if that's weird or not, but
no, I mean, it kind of makes you make you, not that George doesn't, but you appreciate your pieces, because it's like I can only get this one, so I appreciate what I'm getting here.
Also, I mean, moving a piece, it allows the collection to be fresh. Like, there's only I mean, I enjoy everything I get, but sometimes I need to take this off the shelf. Like right now, I'm looking at my my Darth Malik right here, and Revan. And as much as I love Revan, I'm like, these pieces, I need to put something else on that shelf, because I've been staring at it now for like 7 months, and I need to look at something else. So I'm gonna move it to a different corner.
Yeah, yeah. Revan's one of the pieces. I actually recently moved Revan on. I only had him a couple of months, but there's certain things. It was my first quarter scale piece. I've been a really 1/6 scale figure collector and then life size props.
Mm-hmm.
And 1/4 scale was just a bit of an awkward size for my collection, physically space wise, and also didn't really seem to flow too well. So. But the one statue I do have is the Asajj Ventress Mythos, which is just next level. I absolutely love that statue. Yeah.
Yeah. You have that means you have 2 Asajj Ventresses in your collection. That's the Mythos. The Mythos is a 1/5 scale.
Mythos, yeah.
Yeah. That's 1/5 scale. But she's tall like a quarter scale, so I could see that.
I'm printing her this month.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're aware, but Frankie does 3D prints of different Star Wars statues as well. So
I didn't know that, but
yeah.
I'll look that up.
Yeah, occasionally he'll show some of the work. Like he did a Cad Bane on one of the live streams, which was freaking awesome.
Yeah, so it's a 1/3 scale Cad Bane.
Oh, wow.
Trying to get on him and whip the boy to put a camera onto the 3D printer so you could see
it's
the time lapse
process. Believe me, it's a learning process.
That'd be an amazing piece. You should totally do that.
So
it'd be very cool.
Let's take a look at this collection here. Let me bring up display room images. Luke, you came super organized, bro. I love you, man.
What is your one piece you do not want to ever part with?
Oh, that's an easy question. That's I have the dual signature Revenge of the Sith Darth Vader helmet. So James Earl Jones and Hayden Christensen signed master replica.
Wow!
I saw that.
And that isn't going anywhere. Hey,
wow!
I saw that in the pictures, and I was like, "Woo, orgasm right there, bro."
That's awesome.
You folks probably know, but that piece was made from the original molds from Revenge of the Sith. So some really interesting lineage to that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome, bro. So here's a quick broad look at the room from one angle.
Are those modular cases?
Yeah, so the far wall is all modular cases, and then the wall just underneath the projector and the seats is IKEA Besta.
Okay.
But I have some more modular cases on order for that back wall. But again, like budgeting conversation we just had, I couldn't afford to fit out the whole room with modular cases in one go, so I did it in 2 lumps. So, and with how long that stuff takes, I mean, it's amazing, but man, does it take long. So to get here, so it will probably be almost like 3 years between planning and receiving the final modular case once I get my 2 orders, which is kind of crazy.
Wow.
How big is this room?
So the room's probably about maybe like 8 by 8 meters.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit bigger. So yeah, it's got a big projector screen. We do some post-production work in here. We do our presentations here for work. And this is where me and Jude, my son, come on the weekend if we need to get out of the house and it's raining to watch Rebels or Star Wars Lego.
That's awesome.
It's a pretty awesome space to bring him in. Yeah.
Is this connected to the house or is it like separated from the house?
No. So our house is it's probably about 15-minute walk away.
Okay.
And this is our work. This is where I work. So yeah. But in the same suburb, in the same area, so it's not too bad to get to. Yeah.
Man, that is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've got I try not to clutter the spaces and give things breathing room, which is really hard to do, as you folks know when you're a collector, because you just kind of want,
everything.
Yeah.
You want to see everything.
Yeah. So I think coming from photography, particularly with like the 1/6 scale, almost like family portraits that I've kind of created, it's just like framing a photo really with subjects. So I enjoy doing that aspect, and there's kind of like the posing elements too, and the subtlety that comes from like posing a 1/6 figure. I really enjoy. So yeah, there's lots of elements about it.
I love how it wraps around. You got is that Grogu the Hot
Yeah,
Toys or
yeah, Hot Toys, one-to-one Grogu. He's pretty cute. He scares the the crap out of people walking up the stairs because
Yeah.
you can just kind of get a little glimpse of his eye. So
I love the expression on that one, and in comparison to the sideshow. Plus, you could have him sitting on the chair like that, which is awesome.
Yeah, I prefer it. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's that Vader
there
helmet.
it is. Yeah, so this is this is an amazing piece, and again, like, you know, talking about budgeting, like it took me, you know, like 4 or 5 months, you know, to say, I mean, this piece is now crazily priced. Like I wouldn't be able to afford it if I was looking to buy it today, but it was like 4 or 5 months of, you know, saving up. I found someone in the States that enabled me to kind of pay it off as part of the Master Replica group, which was really kind. And then so the lightsaber is from Revenge of the Sith 2. And then I really like with the modular cases, I know a lot of people go for like the strip lights, but I like, obviously, again with photography, kind of creating a bit of a mood. So not everything's perfectly evenly lit. So I went for the warm spotlights, and then I've just added like gels to the spotlights to kind of create the different colors. And, you know, I really enjoy that aspect as well in terms of displaying the collection and kind of figuring that out and how best to light it. And this helmet's really hard to light because it's, you know, it's so reflective and pitch black. So kind of figuring that out was fun.
That was a good choice on the colors there.
Yeah, I love it.
Thanks.
I freaking love that display. That is great.
It's definitely one of my faves for sure.
Yeah, really
and it's an amazing piece in person. It's really.
I like how you have the 6 scale figures breaking it up. You know, that's kind of neat.
I really like that. So with the pieces, like, and obviously you mentioned before around like the legendary scale, so the 1/2 size C3PO. So I've tried to create different scales of elements too, so there's a little bit of interest and it kind of flows, and I think it all works quite well together in that way. You know, I think it would be very different if it was all one scale. I mean, there's some amazing collectors like Gabe at you know, Star Wars Replicas, who has pretty much all 1-to-1, which looks amazing. But yeah, I like playing with scale and space, and yeah,
I do too. I liked having different scale stuff because I feel like it allows me to appreciate either scale. You know, like I can appreciate the 1/6, and then you can appreciate it in life size when you see them next to each other.
Totally.
I dig it.
And then for the Hot Toys displays like this, like I worked with a carpenter, a friend of mine, to build like the plinths and the tiers, the stage. So we just kind of figured out the height, how many tiers we could kind of fit in, because you know, you can add this many figures to a modular case or another display and it looks really, really crowded. So trying to kind of curate that and kind of build those little moments was pretty cool. And obviously you can see like most of it is Return of the Jedi, with the exception of, you know, Tarkin and a few other things.
Right.
I like how Boba Fett's displayed. That's nice.
Yeah, I love that. And you got Han there, and you got Leia back here from Return of the Jedi, and he managed to get Palpatine with the feet planted. I wasn't able to do that.
Well, I mean, it's rigged, hey, because it's like the stand is like jammed up there. It's such a bad design.
Yeah,
I don't know what they were thinking.
I also see that you have this is a hot toy, right? The Luke.
Yeah, they're all Hot Toys. Yeah.
The base is different. You have custom bases made.
Yeah, these are just really cheap third-party figure stands. So you can buy them in bulk. Like I bought them in from a friend of mine, Will, for like 100 of them. They're like a couple of bucks each. They're not the most stable stands, but again, I like just kind of stripping back and creating the uniformity to it, as opposed to sometimes with the you know, the sandy foot bases that Hot Toys seems to
they're not consistent
provide.
With their bases. Yeah,
so it looks a little, or when I tried it, it looked a bit scattered. So this was just how to kind of strip it back and allow your eye to kind of focus on the individual figures, not necessarily the stands or their environment.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
There's that a little bit at a distance, and there's the half scale.
Yeah, it's the half scale, and that thing's beautiful. Crazy story about this. I found this in the most random homeware store in rural Australia, like just this random store that normally sells like sofas and washing machines and dishwashers, and
Wow.
they just it's like a franchise. It's called Better Home and Living, but in Australia it's like a franchise, but it's quite well known. But the franchisee of this store just happens to be a Star Wars fan, and they've got like this most random back section. So you walk through like the washing machines into like a Star Wars space where they have all these figures and sideshow pieces. And I got this piece under retail, so it's been sold out for obviously years.
Yeah.
And I got it for a couple of $1,000 Australian dollars, which is probably about 1,300 US, which for this piece is
that's insane.
Yeah, insane. Yeah,
that is insane.
Like you folks, I'm part of the Hyperdrive group on Facebook, and when Christian and those guys got the Anthony Daniels plaques done, I managed to get the Anthony Daniel plaque to go with it.
His signature is so nice, man. Like,
it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really like. I've just recently started to get into the signatures, and I didn't really appreciate it as much at first until I saw Ewan McGregor's signature, and then once I saw his, I was like, okay, now I'm really starting to pay attention to signatures.
Ewan's it's good to have Ewan's in the collection, but it's an interesting signature.
It's a different one, yeah.
Look at all those polite words.
Yeah, I loved Rogue One. I thought that was a superb movie. I actually also really love the Solo movie. I think that's probably one of the most underrated Star Wars movies
totally
made.
agree.
And I think it just came out at a really bad time.
Me too.
But I really hope they continue that era, because I really liked how they introduced Crimson Dawn and then different character arcs and stories and narratives. It was really cool.
Yeah, and that in between interests me. I'm all right with that. That was such a fun movie. I really really sucks that that it came out at such a bad time, and I understand why Star Wars fans banned, but I wish they wouldn't have. I wish they would have given it a chance.
I had because I mean, when it came out with the other movies that came out, plus the director issue that they had, they just kind of got some bad press before it even came out.
Yeah, but Rogue One was solid. I think that's pretty much universally accepted as maybe one of the best Star Wars movies made. Yeah. I thought Jyn Erso was great, and K2SO is just hilarious. I mean, the stuff that they do with droids in Star Wars and the humor is just next level.
It is, right? K2SO is such a hard hot toy to get too. It's over here.
Yeah, he is now. Yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah, like over here, it's. I mean, I don't know how much it is on your side, but over here it's like 800 US. When you're looking for him.
Well, basically, I mean, you don't, for Australia, you don't quite double the price, but it's not far off because the shipping at the moment is so crazy. So everything's hard, but and our exchange rate's terrible at the moment, so that doesn't help. But the K2SO, sorry, George, the K2SO, I've got like there's a really cool guy called Fusion Reactors that like creates like dummy batteries. So I have the lights hooked up to USB.
Nice.
So it all turns on when you kind of turn the display on, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Sweet.
Yeah. Love that. Very, very cool. All right, and then these are both master replicas. Like that's awesome.
Yeah. So these two are pretty special. So this would be next in line after the Darth Vader helmet. So there's a Carrie Fisher signed thermal detonator from Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
And the V2 Mark Hamill signed lightsaber as well from Return of the Jedi. Yeah. So again, my only two OT master replica pieces are from that film, and there's probably a reason for that, like we discussed before.
Yeah.
It's
right.
It's kind of my jam. Yeah, and these are amazing pieces. I mean, the price on these now is
anything master replicas is nuts. Actually, I had and you got the signature editions, which make it even harder.
Yeah.
I recently had the opportunity to get a couple that were not signature editions, but they didn't have the cases or anything that went with it, so I was afraid of buying it. But it was a good price.
Oh well, there's there's a great guy in Australia. I'll send you his details, Sean, who's making basically the same case. And
that goes around it.
Yeah. So I'll send you his details.
Oh, but yeah, these were missing like the art boxes and the shipping boxes. Like I was gonna get them bare, with just the cards, and I was like, okay, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, that's rough. But yeah, I love those pieces. They're pretty special, and obviously with Carrie now, sadly passing away, that piece I'm really, really proud to have in the collection.
Very good, man. That's awesome. And there's the whole setup.
Yeah, so
all these are master replicas.
On the left-hand side, there's the prequels, Revenge of the Sith. So Obi-Wan's at the top and Anakin's down below. And then on the right, there's Palpatine and Yoda. Yeah.
This was my first Master Replicas lightsaber. The Yoda.
Do you still have it, or did you?
I don't. I got it when it first released back then. I had that one, Count Dooku, and then what was the other one? And Darth Maul. And then over the years, it needed money. I sold some of them, but back when I sold them for almost retail at the time that I had sold them. Even the Maul, when I finally got rid of that one, it was almost retail when I sold it.
Do you think that's one of your biggest?
Oh yeah,
is that a regret? Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. The Maul.
Cry, don't make them cry.
Yeah,
I'll just rub that in a bit.
Yeah. The Maul was the last one, and my wife told me don't sell them all. She was like,
"Oh man, your wife even told you?"
Yeah,
not?
Well, because I was starting the channel. And I needed equipment, I needed stuff, and so I was selling off anything that I felt had been here long enough, and so I sold it.
So you hear that, everybody?
Yeah.
Due to George's sacrifices, we are here.
Yeah. And then it allowed me to get some camera equipment and stuff that I needed. And then now that I'm back in collecting Star Wars solely, I'm kicking myself in the butt. I really missed that lightsaber. That Darth Maul was awesome.
Yeah,
so
wow. we won't mention it again.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a close up of the lightsabers. Oh man, this is cool.
And I mean, these two pieces recently skyrocketed to absurd pricing because of the
Kenobi
show.
Yeah.
But these, a couple of, maybe even a year ago, these could be had relatively inexpensively still.
I didn't even realize
comparatively.
This is very different than the one that he gave Luke in A New Hope. The design.
Yeah, it's very different. So I have no idea. I don't know enough about lightsaber lore to kind of understand how or why it changed, or but I'm sure there's some retrofitting explanation there that someone has.
That's crazy. Like the Kenobi's a little more in line, just cleaner. I think the only difference between the Kenobi is that it has like this little part is different, and then the switch pad is different on there. They have like the bubble pad on there.
Yeah, and interested with the Kenobi, and so the end pummel of that, it's a tap, as you probably know, but really crazily, like growing up in the UK, this was all the taps. Like this was like the taps that I had at my grandma's house, at my auntie's house, at all the houses that had older fittings had these taps. So it's really weird, and they go for crazy prices now. Like
they do.
Taps because of the original pieces. So
because the Star Wars fans, we shot all that stuff up.
Wasn't it when they were making those? They just went down to the hardware store and just like stocked up on.
Yeah, you could buy them all,
and it was like all just stuff that was just laying around.
Yeah, they would have been a couple of bucks each.
Yeah,
for sure. If I'd had the foresight, I could have like unscrewed them all from my family and kept them in a box.
True. I mean, back when Master Replicas was starting out making these things, I went on eBay and I was trying to buy original Graphics handles and all kinds of stuff. And it was funny when you talk to the because back then, when I was first buying on eBay, I would always try to communicate with the seller. The minute they find out that I'm a Star Wars fan, it's like, stop communication.
Vintage camera people do not like Star Wars fans.
Yeah, so that's another expensive hobby I have is cameras, obviously. But I actually had not the Graflex flashes, but I shoot a lot on large format cameras, which is from that era.
Okay. I have an MPP handle. Like I was able to get that from back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only one I have that's like that. I was never able to get a Graphics or true Graphics. Replicas that you can get them all over the place. This is such a pretty lightsaber.
Yeah, the Sidious is amazing.
Yeah.
It's a very cool, and I think the biggest thing for the master replicas versus like the licensed stuff now with the legacy and the Hasbro is just the size of these. They just feel correct.
Yeah.
The Parks ones, they do amazing things for the price, but they're so chunky.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the minute I pulled the Palpatine out of that box, I was looking at it, I was like, there's absolutely no way Sidious was hiding this under his jacket and his cloak.
Yeah.
So the Yoda, I remember when I first saw that, it was so tiny, man. I loved that. That was so cool.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. The Yoda piece.
Very neat.
So this is a growing area. Obviously, there's tons of releases coming out for this, but yeah, this is my jam. Being the prequels kind of guy.
Very cool.
And we've got your friend Grievous in the front there, George.
I see, and you got him posed, man. You managed to get it to work.
Do you know how long that took me? Oh my god!
Like, I think he has an idea.
So this Grievous, it's a joke of a figure. It has tape, it has glue, it has just blue tack. It has just about everything just to keep it somewhat stable. And if a fly flies past, it moves. Anyway, it's not fallen down yet, but if you look closely, there's so much little like black gaffer tape kind of helping him stay there, and it took hours, literally hours.
When I saw it, I was like, wow, I'm impressed. I'm like, he had that thing to stand. Oh man,
he was almost thrown across the room a few times. Hey.
What do you think about this Darth Maul here? Because Seth actually has it, and he's gonna let me review it. I'm after review it, I'm debating if I'm gonna buy it from him or not.
So there's a couple of issues with it. It's not a hyperposable Maul. So I've had the Solo Maul in the past and the Phantom Menace Maul, and they're very dynamic models that you can figures that you can pose. And you've probably, there's about 1 million articles online about it, but the color difference between the chest and the head is quite extreme in person.
Okay.
You can see it right there in the picture.
Yeah. But this is my favorite era of Maul. So for me, it's more about, most of my poses, as you can see, are museum poses. So I'm really happy to have him. But if I was to look at like which Maul I think is my favorite Maul, disregarding like eras, it would probably be the Solo Maul. I think the work on that and the legs in particular are just next level.
The legs were pretty cool on that one. Are you getting the Ahsoka to go with this one, or? Yeah,
so I got the Ahsoka on order. Imagine, like, I know you folks complain about Sideshow, but imagine like in terms of timings, and there's like the early stuff that comes from obviously Asia, then you've got Sideshow delays, and then in Australia, a lot of the stores get their stuff from Sideshow, so we have another couple of million years of wait from when Sideshow gets it. So
do you buy most of yours from Sideshow, or do you get it from like Toys Wonderland? Or, but I know you guys you're closer there, so probably shipping wouldn't be as bad.
Shipping's not quite as bad. I try not to. I haven't bought too much direct from like first batch. There's a company in Australia called Sugo Toys, which ship internationally that I go through, and then there's a really good private seller called Will, who runs like a buy swap sell Facebook group, and his business has kind of grown, and he gets most things from Hong Kong now. So between those two is kind of where I get most of my things. So Sideshow is really challenging to order from because some figures they won't ship at certain times, or there's only like a window of ordering in Australia that we're eligible to buy from them.
Wow.
And then you're kind of locked out of purchasing stuff after it's released some of the time because of licensing. I'm not too sure how it works, but yeah.
That's interesting. That was Frankie and I were talking about the Hot Toys I haven't opened yet. this is that's the other one I was thinking about, Qui-Gon Jinn, and then I'm picking up Count Dooku real soon. So
No,
I'll have
I
those
love
two.
the Dooku. The Dooku's an incredible figure.
Yeah.
The Qui-Gon, Qui-Gon's awesome. Again, he's not he's quite a hard figure to pose. He's not super easy. And I actually that's the second head sculpt of that Qui-Gon I've had, because the
hair,
the hood stains the figure, so you have to be really careful for that. When I had it packed away for a month, I packed it away incorrectly, and the fabric was touching the head, and with the pressure of the box, it left a stain on there. So I had to buy a new head sculpt.
No way! I better open mine out. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that Yoda looks pretty good.
Yeah, that's the Clone Wars one, or sorry, the episode 2. I have this one too.
Yeah, I love that. That's
that
probably
great.
One of my favorite Hot Toys. It's so good.
The Yoda 6 scales are so cute, but they're small in comparison to the others. So, and they got all kinds of nice switch outs and everything. Yeah, one comes with the electricity too, so you can make it look like he's fighting Dooku.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
so that's pretty neat. Right,
yeah, here's
sequel trilogy.
Here's the sequel stuff. So, yeah, I mean, like, if I was going story wise, I mean, Captain Phasma's a good example of like I would say a missed opportunity, because there was so much potential in that character. But I really like this Finn model. I mean, I love that scene at the beginning of Force Awakens. I think they nailed that opening scene with him and Kylo, and and the Praetorian Guards. I'm a big fan of the design. So. Yeah,
I hear what you're saying. Like at the beginning, like I'm not a fan of the sequel trilogies past Force Awakens, but the from a design side of things, they do look cool. The stuff that they have does look cool.
Beautiful.
So,
and the droids, little BD, it's a BD,
BD. So like I had several droids, and my plan was to have like a cube with a couple of Jawas, and then have all the droids that they make. That was gonna be my thing. It was gonna be like a droid junkyard, right? So I needed a K2SO, and but the problem was K2SO was crazy expensive, and then for whatever reason, when this Ray came out with that Dio, I think is his name, right?
Dio, yeah. Sorry,
I couldn't find this thing at retail to save my butt. You know, it was like 150 over, or it was enough over that I was like, I wasn't willing to pay that. So. Yeah. That kind of killed my dreams, you know.
Yeah, that's tough.
So, but I had all the others. Like I had a Gonk droid and a Jawa and all kinds of neat stuff there with the droids.
So cool. Yeah. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day I'll come back to it. So very neat. Oh, I like how you have the life-size bus with the lightsaber.
Yeah. So this there's the master replica that you sold, George.
Oh yes, there it is. I love it. And the Ray Park signature. Dude, okay, so when I had that lightsaber, man, I drove up like 3 or 4 times to Orlando to meet Ray Park. Every freaking time, it either was I couldn't get to him, you know, because all of the passes sold out, or he canceled. Right? No. So I'm going to San Diego Comic-Con next week, or not this coming week, but the week after. I'm going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. Seth hits me up, and he's like, guess what, man? You won't believe what's happening. I'm like, what? Ray Park is coming into town. I'm like, with my luck, it's going to be the week I'm going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. He said, well, when are you going to San Diego Comic-Con? I'm like, July 19th. He's like, oh, yeah, he's going to be here on the 20th. I'm like, motherfucker.
That's classic.
Yeah.
Well, I love that saber. Sorry, we ended up going back there, didn't we? That's a shame for you.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I recently I
freaking love it.
I recently pre-ordered the beautiful Maul print from Marcel, who I know you guys.
Oh yeah, you got the big one?
Yeah, so the big one with
nice
the signature, and I'm really excited by that. Marcel's works are amazing.
Oh yeah,
it's been awesome to get to know him.
Great artist.
Yeah, really cool.
I'm probably gonna get it, but just in the smaller print. I don't got room for the big guy. But
you could put it in your bedroom above your bed.
Oh yeah. My wife would love that.
Yeah, let me know how that goes.
Well, talking about wives, so the Maul bust there, that was actually a birthday present from my wife Sarah, which was an insane birthday present. So cool.
That is
cool.
And
she pulled together a bunch of family and friends to grab it for me, which was really, really lovely.
Is this the Disney Park?
Yeah,
lightsaber
Disney Park, and then the solo one is Corbanth. But those two have actually subsequently rotated out of the collection, so I've sold those and make way for a few things, and yeah.
I'm amazed. It's like these are one of the only sabers. This one, I think, the Luke and the Kenobi, and then obviously like the Vader, where the sabers aren't too far off from the real one.
Yeah, I agree.
Look close in size.
The Legacy molds are absolutely superb, and particularly this one. I think the Clone Wars, is it called the Shadow Collective?
The Shadow Collector, yeah.
It's awesome. I think it's their best saber for sure.
Yeah, one of my
So
favorites.
Luke, you sold those two, you said?
Yeah, those two.
But you kept your Master Replicas one?
Yeah, that's
okay.
not going.
Yeah, he's smarter than me.
I was just making sure.
Yeah.
You got there before me, George.
Yeah. He's smarter than me. He don't have a YouTube channel to try to start.
Oh, there it is again. There you go.
I love it. I'm just gonna take that, keep the picture. I'm gonna frame that and keep it on the wall, and that's how I have it. Oh, this is dope. Who made this?
So this is painted by Jackson Rupert, who you probably know.
Yeah, good guy.
Amazing prop maker. But I part of the Hyperdrive group. I managed to grab the
signature plaque.
The signature plaque for this helmet, which I'm really excited about.
What's her name? Emily Swallows, I think her name is.
Emily Swallow. Yeah.
Swallow. Yeah, this is the one from the Hyperdrive here, right?
Yeah. So you have this helmet, right?
I do. Yeah.
So this is actually one of the artist proof ones that I managed to luckily pick up.
Oh wow.
Nice.
But again, painted by Jackson Rupert, who I'm a huge fan of. I think his work is sublime.
Good weathering.
Yeah.
Oh, it's his weathering work is just amazing. Like
they did a great job on that helmet.
The guy's a visionary for sure. Yeah. This is obviously Cosca Reeves, so I'm chasing this signature, which is Sasha Banks doesn't make too many appearances, so
she should now since she's not in wrestling anymore.
Did she leave wrestling?
I think they got booted out or something like that.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Okay,
that's a dope.
But she has time.
Okay, there you go. But yeah, I really like that helmet design. It's pretty cool helmet.
Yeah. Is that? Oh yeah, you got a Sabine Wren too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this again was a custom. This was a custom commission for Jackson Rupert to paint for me, and it's season 4 Sabine Wren. It's based off it's the GEC props Bo-Katan cast.
Yeah.
So it's not a accurate helmet design to the TV series, but it's it's a really beautiful cast. And then Jackson did an amazing job on the paintwork, and yeah, it's one of my favorite pieces. It's really cool.
Freaking love that. That's nice.
Yeah.
The Anovos or Duanovo is making one.
Yeah.
Making one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thinking about picking it up. I don't know.
Yeah. I agree. I think that and the Django Fett are on my...
The Django. Yeah, that's another one. Probably have to get that from Big Bad Toy Store.
So now we go to the Bestas, the IKEA cabinet. So you can see kind of the difference in the way that they display, which is why I'm really excited to see get the module cases in, just to be able to curate the lighting a bit more.
Right.
But yeah, so this is obviously my Mendo shelf, and I really enjoyed this series. I thought they knocked it out of the park.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I love this show. Can't wait for season 3.
Agree. Yeah.
It's the IG-11 is like the hard for me anyway. Hardest one to display. He's so tall. I can see he's almost touching the top.
Yeah, he's not my favorite figure. He's really hard to. I think he needs kind of movement to look right, and obviously being a figure, he doesn't move. So
right,
it's you don't quite get his essence. Whereas with like K2SO as a figure, for some reason, there's something about his anatomy that kind of work statically. But with IG-11, it's really challenging, I think.
Yeah, he's another one that he's still in the box. I can't put him anywhere yet. So, and these are the Regal robots.
Yeah, so I've subsequently I recently got the Holochess, the signature Holochess set came through.
Oh,
So
you got them all?
yeah.
Nice.
So I have some photos I can probably, after we go through this, I can briefly share with you if there's time.
Okay. Yeah.
But I've displayed the body slam set with the rest of the pieces, which looks pretty cool. And then my friend Sean, Star Wars tracker, picked up the signature Max Rebo for me at Star Wars Celebration, which I was so grateful for.
That's awesome. I like how you have them displayed next to each other like this too.
Yeah, it works. I'm really excited about the rest of the maquettes. See where they take that.
Yeah, I love the work they're doing over there. Are you gonna get the Bantha, the Bantha? I always say Bantha, but the gaffy stick.
I just don't have anywhere to display it. I can't.
Okay.
I can't picture. I think if I was to get something like that, I'd have to give up one of the 2 Hot Toys large areas, which I don't think I want to do that. So yeah, it's probably a pass for me. But I did love it.
Yeah, it looks pretty neat.
Just put it in the bedroom.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right, above the bed.
For defense. This is Sideshow's Rancor.
Yeah, so Sideshow's Rancor. I mean, I would love the Regal Robot Rancor, but this is for the money. This thing's amazing. I really dig it.
I like the Regal Robots one for the legacy of it, you know, but I like the Sideshow one for the display. I feel like it has more of a it looks more dynamic, I think, or the ideal look for the Rancor.
I think the size of this is really. I think they did a really clever job with the size of this smaller version as well, because it's very displayable. Like the Bestas are only, I think, about 45, 50 centimeters deep. So not too deep, and this fits really comfortably in there. So
yeah, I had to build a custom one for mine, and it still sticks out. It's huge.
You have the large one, right?
I got the big guy. Yeah.
Yeah, so cool.
It's awesome. My wife's like, well, you could always move that one. I'm like, no, never. Oh, and the Ghost.
Yeah, so this, I built and painted this similar to your experience with the Falcon. So this is
great.
Thank you. So this is the kit is by Randy Cooper.
Nice.
Yeah. And Randy's a bit of a legend. I mean, this kit is all handmade by him.
Yeah. His Star Destroyer is sick.
I mean, the guy just does some amazing stuff. And the lighting kit is from, I think it's Voodoo Effects that sell the lighting kit, and it has like a little control board in there that makes the engines flicker. And yeah, but this took me hundreds of hours to make. I mean, Randy's kits are beautiful, but they're very challenging to model. And like I said, I play a lot of tabletop war games. I have a lot of modeling experience, and this pushed me to the limit.
Is it all like resin, or is it plastic?
It's all resin, and because it's all hand cast, like individually hand cast for the order, there's a lot of sanding that has to go on to get parts to fit, and various different elements. But a really rewarding thing to finish.
How big is it?
So I think it's in between 172 scale and 196, so it's somewhere in that region. Yeah. Okay. So it would probably fit really well next to like the EFX Millennium Falcon, which I think is like 1:100 or something like that.
Okay. This is this is a normal Besta, like a Besta Cube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just an IKEA Besta. Yeah.
I'm trying to looking at mine. I'm like trying to get an idea of how big that is. That's nice. I like that.
Yeah, it's a good size. And then again, like I just got my friend to make the plinths just to kind of raise it up and try and keep it centered in that space. So
super dope. That's cool.
Yeah. So this obviously is Sideshow.
This is 6 scale.
Yeah, 1/6. Yeah.
Okay.
And then and another friend of mine, Fusion Reactors, I mentioned before, he modified it with me to run off USB. So it turns on as you turn the lights in the room on, and
that's perfect.
You see the little wire down the back.
That's a good size 1/6 for that one. I like MYCs too, but the MYC one's big.
Massive, absolutely massive, yeah. And then here she is.
There's
one
another one that won't leave my collection.
I mean, your Mythos collection that you have is amazing, George. Like particularly the Ben, Kenobi, and the Vader. But I think anything that these I don't know how to pronounce it. It's the Kuchacek brothers.
Kuharik brothers.
Kuharik brothers. So anything that they touch on this newer range, I think, is gold. So I really rate the Maul, and the new Darth Vader looks quite cool as well. So
yeah, the Maul, the Ventress, and the Vader are the best of the new line. But when I first saw her, I just was like, boom, I'm in love.
Yeah, it's I think I did a little TikTok video kind of going through this, but the thing that I really love about this is it kind of develops her character more in terms of what could have been, because I think there's a lot of unrealized potential in Ventress as a character in Star Wars. And
definitely,
I'm sure it's not going to happen, but I would absolutely love some kind of spin-off just on Ventress and the Night Sisters.
That would be cool.
That
would be cool. That's a character I'd like them to revisit.
Yeah, all of that, the planet, even Dathomir, right? Live action totally. Would just be awesome.
Yeah, 100%.
That is good. This is the custom legacy one, or not the legacy, the Doc Honor? No.
Yeah, that's right, Doc Honor. So I haven't visited Galaxy's Edge. We're actually, my brother gets married in the States next year in April, so we're gonna go to Galaxy's Edge with my son. That's my excuse to go anyway.
Which one? California or Orlando?
California. Yeah. Okay. We'll be over on the West Coast. Yeah. But yeah. So that I forget the Etsy. Sorry, I forget the name of the guy on Etsy that makes those, but just houses the kyber crystals. And so this is, I guess, in my collection, this is like where I kind of house all my little tidbits and various things. So the Darth Vader melted skull, that's from an Australian company called Jack of the Dust, which you folks probably have heard of, or maybe not. And they do some amazing Star Wars pieces. They do a great Darth Maul skull, which is really awesome. And then there's a company called Custom 3D Stuff that did the Death Star plans. And also on the left-hand side, it's actually a, what's it called? The fluid, hyperdrive fluid. Little canister.
Nice.
From Solo.
From Solo. I forgot what they called it, the hyperdrive fluid. You remember what that was, Frankie?
No, there's a name.
There's a name. Yeah, I can't.
Coaxium fluid.
Coaxium. That's what it was. Coaxium.
And then there's hand dice, and there's a little Crimson Dawn ring, which you can't really see, just next to the hand dice as well.
I got the hand dice, but I put that in my car.
Oh, that's probably where it should be.
They hang from there. My daughter always asks me why. I'm like, well, this makes the car go faster. I'm like,
yeah, it definitely does.
You guys over there, I see it posted on Facebook a lot. There's some company or something that makes lawn statues. They're not sold here in the States. And I always want one every time that somebody posts it.
Yeah, so it's called Bunnings. It's basically like just a hardware store. Like it's the most Australian place you'll ever visit, because they have outside of every Bunnings store, you have a sausage sizzle where you get a sausage sandwich for like $1.50.
Okay.
And all the proceeds, like charities rotate through to sell their sausage sandwiches. For charity. But you go to Bunnings, you get a sausage sandwich. And yeah, they do great statues. I actually have, they did helmet plant pots a few years ago.
I saw that.
So I have a few of those in the garden.
Oh man. Every time I see that, I'm like, man, I wish so jealous of that.
Hey, should I quickly show the Holochess?
Yeah, man.
Let me try and share my screen. Cool. Is that working?
Yep. Got it.
Cool. So this is the new, so I changed the display around when I got this the other day, but this piece is amazing. I think this is another piece that won't leave the collection.
That is cool.
Yeah, I was really, really loved how this kind of displayed. And again, like I had a lot of fun like playing with the heights and trying to get like a well-curated scene, because this is a really hard piece to display because there's so many elements. So yeah.
I love how you do it too.
Thank you.
When they're raised like that, you get a good visual of everything there.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to switch up the module cases.
Oh, look, they're
nice.
definitely worth the wait.
Yeah, it's a long wait. And I think the reason why I haven't is because I've always heard that how long it takes to get them, and then
Yeah.
the other thing too is that my room is not huge, so those would actually come out at me a lot more. So it'd be
It
less of a.
It should be easier here now because I think they have a U.S. distributor.
Okay.
Yeah. They Sideshow have some stock, I think, occasionally, but yeah, look, it's definitely worth the wait, and they're a wonderful company, like really lovely humans, great customer service, good to deal with. I just wish they would, have some stock and make that a little bit quicker, because it would just make it a lot easier for people. And I think particularly in collecting, like collections evolve so much over the space of 12 months that it's really quite challenging, I think, to plan with that kind of timeline, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because a lot of what we're ordering, sometimes with purchase, POs, it's like a year to 2 years out now with production. So yeah,
all the delays and everything.
Yeah.
You ever happen when you order something, that you order it, you're hyped about it, you can't wait to get it, then the year or two passes, you finally comes in, you're like, why did I order this?
Yeah. Totally, absolutely. Yeah.
Damn, dude. Man,
Yeah. So that's it, boys. That's my space.
I told you,
awesome,
Frankie,
man.
Nerdgasm, bro. I'm all nerdgasmed out right here. I need to go get some tissue after I leave this. So
it's awesome.
Come to Australia. We can meet here. We'll have a beer and we'll go to Singapore and hang out with Randy.
I'm down, man. I'm so down.
He's got another amazing space over there. I mean,
yeah, his store, the Collector's Arc.
Collector's Arc. Oh my goodness, I want to visit that place so bad.
Randy's such a cool guy, man. He's another guy I got to get on the show at some point. He's so down to earth and
lovely dude. All Christian as well from that group. Yep. All of them are really wonderful. But Randy helps get like the helmet stands for my display and lots of other little things. He's a really good person to know in the collecting world. He has lots of good pieces.
Absolutely, yeah, really good guy.
Yeah,
all I got to do is tell my wife we're going to Australia, and she's like, "Let's go."
Nice. I wish it was like that for me.
Well, how many kids do you have, George?
2. And the real issue with us with traveling anywhere, it's like right now, right? I'm going to San Diego. My kids are on summer break, so my parents were like, "Oh, we could watch the kids." So I look at my wife. I'm like, "Hey, you can come with me to San Diego." And we looked at the flights and the hotel. It would be like an extra $2,000 to the whole trip for her to come. And she's like, "Nope, that ain't happening right now." I'm like, "All right."
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's look, I'd say I'm sympathetic, but every time any Australian wants to go anywhere in the world, it's that experience. So
I gotta imagine,
it's a very isolated place to live. Yeah, we're close to Japan. You mentioned you've been to Japan before, George, and that's one of my favorite places to visit. It's pretty awesome. We're pretty
the last time we were there, my brother and I, because I went with my brother the last time I was out in Tokyo, and he also wants to go to Australia. So he's like, "Yo, man, let's just take another week off and we'll fly to Australia first, and then we'll come back, because it won't be as bad. We'll just knock out 2 birds with 1 stone, But we just couldn't swing it at that point. But yeah, it's on my list.
Australia is an amazing country. I mean, it's like almost the same size of the USA. So I think it's only about 20% smaller, but we have 20 million people instead of 300 million. So it's 8% of your population and almost the same landmass. So it's nice. It's just vast,
Yep. And you got like 500 more species of animals that try to kill you.
Everything tries to kill you. Yeah.
That's why they're all big and tough out there. They breed Hemsworth like on tap over there.
Everyone's like Hemsworth. Yeah. It really is an amazing place, and there's some incredible things to visit in Australia. I mean, Australia is made up of 250 individual nations and languages. So there's 250 different languages that make up Australia, which is just mind-boggling when you think about it. And culturally, it's a really wonderful place. Yeah, there's a lot of good things.
Well,
that's what me and George were talking about before the show. I grew up an Army brat, so I lived in Germany for 10 years. So you get to experience all these different, I went all over Europe. And one of the things I miss about traveling a lot, we go to Israel every year, but I love traveling, seeing other cultures and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Definitely.
no, there's definitely a lot of really good things to explore here.
True. Well,
and apparently Star Wars collections as well.
yes,
there are. There's some really cool Star Wars. Actually, I've got a really there's some really good Star Wars collectors here. Like there's some crazy collections. My friend Scott, who actually lives in the same city as me, randomly we found each other via the Hyperdrive channel.
right.
But he lives in my city, and my city is like only 250,000 people, like the whole kind of region. But he has an insane collection. He's basically like the godfather of Australian collecting.
Oh wow!
Like, so, and it's amazing. Like his master replica collection, he probably has. I'm not exaggerating if I was to say he has one or maybe even two of everything. So
It's like Joseph.
yeah,
Yeah.
like Joseph, which is
Yeah.
I heard. Does Joseph have an entire apartment just for his
Yes, he does.
collection?
He does, bro. Just
Wow.
that's his storage room. That's his storage area. Is another apartment, dude. I love the man. When I met him, he told me that he's getting the process of unboxing stuff and putting it on display and everything. And when he's ready, I can come over there and I'll film it. I'll be the first one to get to check out the collection. I'm like, okay, great. So when we went on lockdown, I mean, he was unboxing something every single day for over a year, and it wasn't going anywhere. It just was building up more and more and more and more. I was like, you're still unboxing stuff. I'm like, this is never going to end.
But the thing is, it's over multiple franchises. Like that is just a glutton for punishment. Like that is wild. And it's his Star Trek ships as well, right? That are like the studio scale stuff.
Yeah.
And
wild. He's got some random, like he has the Orville ship. I think it's like one of 4 ships in the world that were made.
Crazy.
Something like that. Yeah, I think he's currently in the process of getting a Slave 1 studio scale put together for him and everything. And I mean, it's amazing. He's one of my best friends, but he's also the one that probably helps me spend the most. Just because like he'll show me an idea, and I'm like, ooh, I want to do that.
Well, you look like a saint compared to him with his spending process.
That's helped. Yeah, I told my wife, you think I'm bad?
I'm sure it's all under control. It's all under control.
Yeah,
right.
But one of the things about being in these communities, like being like you said, you met your neighbor via the Hyperdrive group, is that you at least for me anyway, I felt very alone when I started collecting because none of my friends collected. And then I meet through all of this, I meet you guys, and it's awesome talking to you guys and seeing the way you guys display your collections, and it inspires me to try to be like, okay, let me see if I can fix this and make this look a little better. Or like what I see, and I just like I'm amazed with how everybody we all have our different ideas, but we all have this one passion and a place where we all can come together.
Absolutely, yeah. Similar with you, no one kind of has a collecting challenge like me, that I know, except for through those groups and various things. And it's a really wonderful community. It's pretty supportive and it's great. And you folks do a great job with this channel. It's been really awesome. And all the admins of the Hyperdrive group as well. I think that group's probably one of the best groups I've ever been a part of on Facebook. There's no nonsense on there. It's just really good people and very supportive.
Yeah, I agree. And it's kind of the reason why they inspired the name of this channel. Yeah. Was because of that. They were like the first group that I came across on Facebook that they were super supportive, real nice guys, and felt very genuine people. So
and big props to Christian for that. Thanks, Christian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely amazing.
So, but Luke, man, it's been an awesome hour and a half. I feel like it just like flew by. I can't even look at how long we've been on the channel talking, wild. Man. Yeah. You're an awesome dude, man. I really appreciate you hitting me up and I apologize that I haven't had you on the channel sooner. I feel like we've been talking since November. That I really think I should have had you on the channel at least earlier.
Yeah, he should have.
It's you haven't done one of these in a while, I don't think. So it's lovely to be here and kick you back off. Keep it going. I want to see some more. So
all right, man.
Different people. Yeah.
we'll add more of that to the onslaught of videos that we put out. But yeah, I'm down for that. I absolutely want to hang out with more people, and I had a really awesome time, man. I really appreciate it, Luke.
Thank you both. It was a great chat and lovely to finally engage with you somewhat in real life. I'm sure we'll meet at a con sometime in the future.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Either that, or as soon as the flights go down in price, I'm flying my butt out to Australia. Absolutely, that's happening.
You've got a place to stay if you come out.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
I got to go get a garden ornament.
Yeah, there you go. There's a reason to go. We'll all go. We'll make it a field trip.
Those things, you need a suitcase for each one of those. Those things are huge.
I know.
I
heard they're not small.
They're like 1/3 scale.
Yeah.
Statues.
They're so worth it, though, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us for this video. Please like and subscribe, and then check out Luke's Instagram page. Is called That Star Wars Bloke. I'm telling you, you guys will love everything you see on that Instagram page. I'll leave a link in the description below, like I said, for you guys to get to it. And until next time, may the Force be with you.